and welcome to the 2020 pinning of the RNs and LPNs for Alpena Community College, our first virtual pinning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending. This is our opportunity to thank you for all you've done this semester and what you're going to do for the profession of nursing, and our opportunity to welcome you into that profession. The tradition of pinning usually involves a nurse putting a pin on you, but because of social distancing, we don't have that opportunity tonight. So we're going to do a truncated pinning and some of the common things that we do, and we'll have to forego some of the others. But when life gets back to normal, if we can do a face-to-face pinning, we will. And if not, when we have other pinnings and you want to come back and be pinned and have your photo opportunity, you are more than welcome anytime to come to one of our pinnings, and we will acknowledge your achievement and celebrate you. So just know that, and forgive my cat if he decides to walk on the keyboard. All right, so with that, I'm glad to have you all here, and I'm now going to turn it over to President McMaster with his address to the graduates. Don, you're still, there you go.
How's that?
Much better.
Good. Well, thank you, Melissa, and congratulations, graduates. What a wonderful achievement, especially in the environment we've had to do it in. The way the faculty and students have stepped up to the challenge of the pandemic has been inspiring to a lot of folks, myself included. Sometimes quite a bit revealed during times of adversity, and character is one of those things. And your accomplishments in the face of the obstacles that we were dealing with and are dealing with was commendable. So I want to thank you for that and congratulate you. Now, I thought rather than me, conjure up some kind of generic president comments, that I would read something that is very pertinent and moving to me. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it was in our inaugural alumni newsletter, The Crosscut, and it was an article on 2016 ACC nursing graduate, Katie Flemington. So for those of you who've seen it, or read it, bear with me. I think you'll probably get as much out of it the second time, and those of you who haven't, it's a stirring story, so I'm going to share that. It's called ACC Alumni on Front Lines of COVID-19 War. Katie Flemington always knew she was going places, but even she never imagined her career in nursing would take her to the front lines of a pandemic. Certainly not in America. Seemingly born with wanderlust in her heart, Katie graduated from Alpena High School in 2009 with no real idea what she wanted to do in her life, except she knew she wanted to travel. She enrolled at Alpena Community College and bounced around working a few part-time jobs to fund school and mission trips before graduating with 2 associate degrees. Katie had searched the world and her heart for what she wanted to do with her life, and finally decided to follow her mother's path and enroll in a nursing program at Alpena Community College. Of her time at ACC, Katie now says, the classes are tough and you want to quit at least every other week. I've heard that before. But the knowledge gained surpasses that of any 4-year college that I've heard about. I was blessed to be able to be a part of a nursing school that had such a small staff to student ratio that each instructor could really get to know the students. And I believe that in itself made all the difference. After graduating from ACC in 2015 with an LPN certificate, and in 2016 with an associate in applied science and nursing and RN level 2, Katie went on to get a bachelor's degree in nursing and is now working on a master's degree. In between, she's been to far-flung corners of the world, Peru, Mexico, and Uganda, to use her nursing skills in service to the poorest among us. Her greatest service, however, has been right here in America, fighting against the most sizable public health crisis the world has seen in a century, COVID-19. Katie is now a nurse at Our Lady of the Lake Hospital in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Prior to the novel coronavirus pandemic hitting the United States, Katie worked in the trauma intensive care unit at the hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center, There, she treated an array of patients ranging from victims of violent crimes, auto collisions, and traumatic brain injuries to patients who code throughout the massive hospital. She is used to being on her feet nonstop and busy all the time, but she was not used to COVID-19. Transitioning from treating victims of physical trauma, Katie is now devoted to caring for the hundreds of COVID-19 patients who have sought help at her hospital. She describes this virus and what it does to its victims as something all her schooling and experience could never have prepared her for. Patients come in with a cough or low oxygen saturation, and shortly after, they get put on a ventilator. That's when they come to me, Katie explains. The last few weeks have been hell, for lack of a better word. Patients appear fine for one day, maybe two, then go into respiratory failure at the drop of a hat. Katie explains that the high levels of sedation necessary to combat acute respiratory distress syndrome in her patients often cause the kidneys and liver to shut down. Patients get started on dialysis, and due in part to liver failure, blood clots develop that complicate dialysis. But that's not all. Within 3 to 4 days, the patients develop a heart condition and ultimately succumb to cardiac death. This all sounds morbid, but it isn't the worst part, Katie says. The worst part of the virus is having to stand outside of your patient's window trying to comfort them through the glass. It's holding up their phone to FaceTime their loved ones for quite possibly the last time as your team prepares the intubation. It's telling family that their loved one will most likely pass away today, but no, you cannot come see them. Senior skilled physicians yelling, "I hate this virus," across the nurses' station because the same pattern we've seen watching is happening to another patient. Not being able to fix the physical damage COVID-19 does to her patients is devastating, but nurses don't just tend to the physical form of their patients. What haunts Katie are the barriers this virus creates to prevent her from being able to physically and emotionally comfort her patients. We're ICU nurses, trained to read the telltale signs of an impending code and taught to rush into the room to fix the patient. We can't do that now. Every time we have to enter the patient's room, we are exposing ourselves to the virus. We put on and take off our personal protective equipment every time we enter the room, and supplies are limited week by week, she explained. COVID-19 isolates the patient, endangers those involved in care, and keeps healthcare workers and patients from seeing their families for extended periods of time. Katie takes comfort in her coworkers, talking to her mother, Carol, who is a nurse in Alpena, and leaning on the preparation she received at ACC. ACC prepared me in many ways for what I'm facing today. The nursing instructors at ACC have such a wonderful spectrum of personalities, with each teacher telling us stories from what they've seen and how it isn't necessarily the medical utopia that the school books try to teach. Colonel Cushman's war stories, Tony Pratt's ICU stories, Beverly Banks' constant bubbly personality and immense cardiac knowledge, Melanie Thomas's realism and ER expertise, Barb Jackman's motherly nature and kind heart, Julie Miller's incredible pediatric stories and expertise of all things OB and pediatric. The way they pour their experiences into their teaching allowed me to relate everything to real-world scenarios and remember it more easily down the road. So the final paragraph here is, Katie is a lumberjack we can all be proud of. Her education took her from Alpena to Uganda to Louisiana and many points in between. It gave her the skills, knowledge, and compassion needed to be of service to people in the fight for their lives. So that's Katie's story. You know, my hope for you is you find purpose and mission, as Katie has done in helping people, and that you be safe, be well, go forth, succeed, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, President WebEx. At this point of the program, this is when we would have the LPN graduates rise and get ready to come across the podium to be presented with their pins and their certificates and their roses. And so to honor all of the LPN graduates, if Melanie Thomas would please be willing to read the names of the LPNs.
Hello, everyone. LPN certificate graduates are Haley Bickard, Kayla Dickinson, Andy Dumas, Alexis Ferguson, Paige France, Amanda Harrison, Kendall Lear, Dakota Prevo, Riley Smith, and Michaela Standen.
And if Lisa will unmute everybody so that you can hear a round of applause, that would be awesome. Yay, all of you. Congratulations. Awesome.
Start my recording with you.
Okay. So now, after
Just got
the thunderous applause for the LPN graduates, I will have Beverly Banks read this evening.
Thank you, Melissa. Melissa, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I got a couple different things going on. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, and I appreciate the fact, Melissa, that you gave that applause there, because I was sitting here thinking, oh, this is going to be really awkward if I have to clap each time. However, it is my privilege to announce the 2020 ACC RN graduates. Jeremiah Brusso, Kennedy Shamora, Morgan Dove, Emily Halsey, Andrew Hundyke, Andrea Kirby, Jasmine Schultz, Brittany Spray, Hannah Thayer, and Christina Welsh. Congratulations.
Lisa will have unmute. Woo! All right. Congratulations, everyone. So, recognition of inspiring nurses is the next topic, and today is Nurses Day. So it's wonderful that pinning actually falls on Nurses Day. I think that that's really awesome. And there is not one single nurse that is an inspiration. All nurses are inspirations. And everybody right now who's working in the healthcare field, all of our CNAs, our food staff, everybody, housekeeping across the board are all truly inspiration because we couldn't do this without them. Our first responders, our paramedics, everybody who's pulling together to fight this virus truly are the inspiration right now. And Aristotle once said, where the needs of the world and your talents cross, there lies your vocation. And I'm so happy to say that you guys have all chosen this to be your vocation, and you are truly going to meet the needs of the world. So thank you. Thank every nurse and healthcare person who's out there. We truly appreciate all that you're doing. And with that, we will now move on to the LPN Awards, and that's going to be started by the wonderful Lisa Breggy, whose anniversary it is today. So she's spending her wedding anniversary with us. So yes, applause for her.
First, I just want to say how great it is to see all of you again. If you are a recipient of an award this evening, award certificates and scholarship checks will be mailed to your home over the next few weeks. So I will now present the LPN Award. This award is given to a student who has excelled in the knowledge of nursing theory. The faculty have chosen Candy Dumas. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next award is for excellence in clinical practice. This award is given to a student who has demonstrated a high proficiency in clinical practice. The faculty have chosen Dakota Prevo. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next award is the LPN Classmate Appreciation Award. This award was established by the LPN class of 2005. This award is given to a classmate who is recognized by the entire group for their outstanding personality, attitude, and overall contribution to the class. The students have chosen Paige France. Congratulations, Paige.
Thank you.
So Paige, your name will be engraved in the plaque that's hanging in NRC. Our Our next award is the Judy Beyer Award. So in honor of this LPN nursing instructor, this award was established by the Student Nurses Association in 1994. It is given to a student with a GPA of 3.0 or higher, who has a minimum of 10 community service hours and demonstrates those qualities of compassion and caring, as well as clinical expertise, of which Judy Beyer felt were important to be a professional nurse. Faculty have chosen Paige France.
Thank you again.
Thanks again. And now I'm going to have Barb Jackman present her scholarship. I'll unmute you, Barb. Oh, you're all
Okay.
set.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Barb Jackman. I was a nursing instructor there for 30 years, 60 semesters. And I'm proud to award a scholarship in my name for $500. And it's awarded to a full-time nursing student who has successfully completed the LPN program and will be continuing on into the RN program. This award is selected by nursing faculty, and the criteria include that the student communicates well with his or her patients at the bedside and teaches his or her patients, maybe virtually now. The student displays eagerness to perform every patient care procedure available to him or her at any time. The student is always enthusiastic and demonstrates a positive, caring attitude. The student is prepared with the information needed to carry out the task he or she is to complete for each shift. And finally, that the student helps and supports his or her nursing classmates. And I'm proud to award this endowed scholarship to Haley Bickert.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is that Haley? Hi, Haley.
Thank you, Barb. So now I will present the RN Awards. The first award is for excellence in nursing theory. This award is given to a student who has excelled in the knowledge of nursing theory. The faculty have chosen Hannah Thayer.
Hannah, wow.
Thank you.
Hi, Hannah.
The second award is for excellence in clinical practice. This award is given to a student who has demonstrated a high proficiency in clinical practice. The faculty have chosen Kennedy Shimura.
Thank you.
The next award is the Catherine Riker Gwynn Scholarship. And I would like to take a moment to thank Dan Gwynn for increasing the scholarship to $750 just this week. Thank you. So in honor of this RN nursing instructor, the $750 scholarship was established by the Student Nurses Association in 1994. This award is given to a student who has successfully completed the clinical portion of the RN program while maintaining a minimum 3.0 GPA. This student must also demonstrate a dedication to quality nursing by showing initiative and seeking out new learning experiences, achieving academic success, and maintaining a high level of professionalism. The scholarship is awarded to Christina Welsh. Congratulations. The next award is the Holistic Nurse Award. Established by the RN class of 2005, this award is given to a RN student who encompasses the characteristics of the holistic nurse approach. These characteristics include exhibiting superior competence in clinical and theory classes and showing compassion and enthusiasm in everything they do. The faculty have chosen Kennedy Shamara. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And our final award for the evening is the Helen Malandrinos Scholarship. Helen Malandrinos was the ACC Director of Nursing from 1982 to 1989. This $250 scholarship is given by the ACC Foundation to a student who exemplifies those traits that Ms. Malandrinos felt were important to being a successful nurse. They include integrity, leadership, scholarship, and community. The scholarship is awarded to Kennedy Shamara. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. So now, with the address to the graduates, Kennedy Shamora is going to give the speech. Congratulations, Kennedy.
Thank you. All right, so bear with me. It's a little bit longer than I usually do, but not too long. All right, good afternoon, friends, family, faculty, and to you, honored class of COVID-19 of 2020. We've made it. And now I want to face the question, was it worth it? We sacrificed time with our family and friends, given up countless nights of sleep, have been pushed farther and harder than most. We've broken down, we've cried, but most of all, we survived it. So was it worth it? To face this question, I think you first must understand what it's like to be an Alpena student nurse. And to me personally, I think being an Alpena student nurse is a lot like being Rocky. Now, some of you might be like, who's Rocky? Rocky Balboa was an amateur boxer who was given a chance to face the world champion, in our case, nursing school on steroids during this pandemic. Rocky's story isn't one of knockouts and beatdowns, but rather it's about going the distance, to last 12 rounds with the best there is in order to prove to himself and to others that he had what it takes to be among the best. We have come a long way to work next to the best. And like Rocky, we have taken our beatings. Round one is series of jabs, patient-centered care, and professional concepts and initiatives. This was to see if we have what it takes to stay in the ring. Then they started throwing some combos from pathophysiology and pharmacology. A few rounds later, the knockout punches, having to balance 3 clinicals in one semester, all with sim labs, essays, quizzes, projects, exams, you name it. But like Rocky, we stayed on our feet and we went the distance. But is this what determines the worth of our investment here at ACC? I don't think so. So we could have learned patho and pharm at any academic institution, but what defines the value of our education is what has happened in between the classroom and the clinical. For I think if the walls of 665 Johnson Street could speak, the walls that saw you become a champion through examinations and simulations, the walls that saw you not only go to school, but go to work, and for some, go to school, work, and home to feed and care for a family, walls that have seen us return to school even though some of us had to drive 3 hours through a winter storm, walls that have witnessed us run mass casualty drills to make them seem as realistic for those graduating before us. These walls would say the same thing to us that Rocky had told his son. I raised you better than the rest. You see, the world ain't all sunshine and rainbow, kid. It's a very mean and nasty place that will take you to your knees and keep you there if you let it. Nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But in life and in nursing, it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That is what we've learned. That is how Alpena nursing is done. And through this pandemic, we weren't trained to only be nurses. We were meant to be nursing leaders, to be relentless, to be resistant, and to bring our best to the bedside no matter what. Now we can still have a lot to learn, careers to start, and I'm sure mistakes will be made along the way. Make no doubt about it. In time, we will be the nursing leaders for our generation, and in a time where healthcare is the #1 topic in the world, and when our country is starting to face economic struggles, I think it is worth having nurses like us. Nurses who are relentless, resilient, and no matter what life throws at them, will keep moving forward and bring the best patient-centered care and evidence-based practice to the bedside. So when somebody asks me whether this education was worth it, my response is undeniably, absolutely, without a doubt, yes. And on behalf of the graduates, I want to say thank you to the families and friends for all of your love and support. And I want to thank the faculty and staff of ACC for giving us the skills and knowledge we need to pursue our passion. And thank you to the County of Alpena for the collaboration and the inspiration. Class, let's go show this country, let's go show this world what Alpena nursing is really all about. Thank you.
Good job, Kennedy. Thank you for that. All right, and with that, I invite all nurses to grab your Nightingale pledge. And as we welcome you to the profession, we will all recite the Nightingale pledge. So if Lisa will unmute and forgive the feedback, but we're going to do this. Here we go. I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass my life in purity, to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous, will work not to take or knowingly administer any harmful drug. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession. And I will hold in confidence all personal matters to my keeping, committed to my affairs, all to my knowledge, to the practice of my calling. I will endeavor to aid the physician, devote myself to the welfare of those committed to my care.
No, we don't want to.
That was hard. That wasn't bad. Besides thank you, there's really not much more that I can say in my own words. So in looking at what I was going to say today, I found one final quote by Haruki Murakami, and this is what I want to leave you with. And once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure, in fact, whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. So thank you. I wish you all the best. And we will unmute everyone, do one final round of applause for all of you, and send you off into the world. Congratulations. Good job.
You should know what's going to happen. I was going to give them about 10 minutes and call them back. I've not said anything to Adrian yet.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Congratulations.
Thank you.